Call 1-888-BOB-SHERRY. Give us a call. Lines are open. It's the chat room. Come on, join us. Call 1-888-BOB-SHERRY. Here's Bob and Sherry.
So our question this morning to tie in is, who was the creep that you were with alone? Was it in a house, a car, the woods, in a cabin, in a mansion?
You just happen to find yourself alone with a weirdo. All right, Julie's worked for a serial killer. Talk about being alone in a house with a weirdo. Julie.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you called. Which serial killer did you work for?
I worked for a man named Earl Bramlett when I was in high school, and I guess this would have been in the 80s, I guess. And
Earl Bramlett?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. What was the job, Julie?
He owned a silk screening business, and he had run an ad in the paper and wanted someone with, a creative person to come and help him with this silk screening business. And he rented this old church, and that's where he ran the business out of. So that was kind of weird too, that it was this big old church, and he was running the silk screening business. And he was odd. Like, looking back on it now as an adult, he was probably very odd. But I was young and naive, and he paid me well and paid me cash under the table, so I continued to work for him. And then I guess it was probably a couple of years after I wasn't working for him any longer, and there was an entire family that was murdered, and their house set on fire to try to hide the evidence and all of that. And as I'm watching the news and hearing this story, it was a small town, so that was a big deal, obviously. And him on the news that Earl Bramlett was the person that killed this entire family. And as the story started to unfold, and as you're reading more in the paper, there were apparently a couple of teenage girls back in the 70s that worked for him that disappeared and were never seen again.
Julie, oh my gosh.
Were you alone with him in this place, this church?
All the time.
All the time. And you were what, 18, 19, something like that?
Oh, gosh, I was probably 16 or 17.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I was still in high school. And the funniest thing, I think I cheated death. I really think about that and think, oh, my gosh, I can't believe that I survived this. But my husband has heard this story so many times, and I've often wondered, I'm like, does he think I'm making this up? Or
I know husbands never believe us. Julie, do you realize that if he had not been caught for the murder of that family, you could have been next?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's bizarre. It's very surreal. But as my husband and I were watching TV one night, and he's heard this story so many times, he wanted to watch Forensic Files, and I'm not that into it. But he's like, please, just once watch Forensic Files for me. And we're watching it, and the announcer comes on and says, in a post office in Benton, Virginia. And as soon as I heard the announcer, I bolted upright and just started pointing at the TV, and I'm like, oh, my God, this is about Earl Bramlett. This is about the man that I worked for.
We're looking at a picture of him right now.
Listen to what we found. Everybody, listen to what Julie narrowly escaped. The family that you're talking about, he shot the father and the children, and he strangled the mother. After questioning, authorities believed he knew things about the crime scene that had previously not been reported, and a hair belonging to Bramlett was found in the child's bed. They say he murdered the family because he was sexually obsessed with the 11-year-old daughter.
Oh, my goodness, and you were just 16.
Yes. And then my family asked me afterwards, they were like, Julie, do you have anything you need to tell us? And I was like, no, I don't.
Julie, because you cheated death, we're going to give you the complete final season of One Tree Hill on DVD.
Excellent. And Julie, as a father, let me just say this to you. How could you do something so stupid as to go into a building, this empty church with a man who's like 55 years old with white hair?
He was electrocuted, by the way, in 2003 in Virginia, in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So
what an awesome story, Julie. You're so lucky to be alive and to have the final season of One Tree Hill, including outtakes on DVD. Woo!